When I said in the title of this video that Netflix really shot itself in the foot with this new release scheme that they're trying out now, I really meant it. So I first wanted to wait a little bit more to see how it panned out with the release of the new season of Wednesday Addams. If you hadn't noticed by now, Netflix is changing the release scheme on their shows by dividing into two parts, mostly consisting on a season of 8 episodes, 1 hour each, now divided by 4 episodes releases that split months apart. And this is something that I briefly touched on one of my latest videos on Stranger Things. This new release schedule that Netflix is trying out on their original shows is absolute garbage, bro. As a side note, that video did really well, and some people laid some pretty fair criticism on my commentary that I'm definitely keeping into account. But man, some of you were a little bit unhinged. There's this one guy that commented over 50 times. So if you're watching this video, I'm sorry I'm coming out against your favorite streaming service again, bro. I legitimately want Netflix to bring back the same level of quality they once were recognized for. And I love Netflix. They really pioneered and give us one of the best gems of the 2010s. So, how does this tie with this video topic? Well, I don't really think this is doing much good for Netflix. I mean, let's be fair to them for a little while here. It's not like we waited impatiently for a new season of Wednesday. Although it did come out 3 freaking years ago. I don't really know anybody that's a diehard fan, but I might be mistaken. I think most people just watch this show for the vibes and the Tim Burton aesthetic. And it's cute. It's a preteen drama, and that's as much as there is to it. Similar to Stranger Things. Although I kinda get why Stranger Things has a much broader appeal to adult audiences, but again, this is Wednesday Addams, guys. This isn't an Aaron Sorkin / David Fincher Shakespearean-level detective drama. And I say this because many TV shows in the past have had this same release scheme, albeit they were weekly dropped episodes, not this hybrid BS Netflix is trying to pull. And to be fair, even my favorite shows implemented this strategy, such as the final season of Better Call Saul, last season of Breaking Bad, and the last season of The Sopranos. If you guys can even remember that far back. I'm getting old. These were all great TV shows that were divided by 2 parts on their last length. But when Better Call Saul did it, it worked because it enhanced the dramatic effect. I mean, if you watched it when it aired, tell me this cliffhanger didn't absolutely make your jaw drop.
Who are you? Me? Nobody.
Or for Breaking Bad's case, this one right here.
You got me.
Another side note, I'm really trying to stay away from spoilers as much as I can, so don't worry, I won't get into much detail. But I feel like these mid-season breaks absolutely worked with these shows I mentioned, because they built off the momentum off the show and what is actually taking place in the plot. Now, if we look at Wednesday's cliffhanger for this mid-season break, and again, this is why I wanted to wait until it came out so I could make this video and pretty much confirmed what I already thought. There wasn't really much thought put into the mid-season break dramatically wise. I mean, they tried to do a fake out of Wednesday dying. Get real. The show is called Wednesday. She is definitely not dying, bro. Even Jon Snow's fake out in Game of Thrones that lasted like 1 episode was more believable than this crap. Even Jenna Ortega said this on a Hot Ones interview.
I don't die. I get thrown out the window. The show's called Wednesday. I'm not gonna die. I think there's like a slight marketing thing going on right now where guys, let's be honest.
So it wasn't really a serious or dramatic cliffhanger. And then again, I don't mean to shit on Wednesday too much because I like this show. It's wholesome and the vibes are good, but the plot does not warrant this much content edging Netflix is trying to pull out of nowhere just for the sake of boosting a little bit their viewership. In fact, I think it's doing quite the opposite. I don't hear or read that many people talking about this second part that much as people did when the first part came out. Twitter, Threads, Reddit have seemed to move on from this. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if most casual audiences completely forgot altogether or didn't even realize that a second part for this new season had dropped. And I say this because I know firsthand someone like my dad, who couldn't bother remembering what he had for breakfast this morning, cannot be bothered to remember something he binged on Netflix back in 2022 for like 3 days. Then came back last month for 4 episodes, and now is back once again to wrap up everything. Does Netflix really think this is a good system? I think they're simply asking too much for casual audiences. And most engaged audiences probably aren't really keeping up with the show as close as they would with something a bit more challenging like Severance or something. But anyways, I didn't want to stretch this too much, and just wanted to give you my quick thoughts about it, which I touched briefly on my last video criticizing something Netflix related. But I genuinely feel like this is just fair criticisms, and not at all just hating. Again, I like Netflix. I would like for them to succeed because their shows are pretty good for the most part. But I just wanted to voice my opinion and vent a little bit, because this release scheme is really not it for me. But anyways, I really want to hear your thoughts. Comment down below what you think. Also, try to keep it civil, guys. I mean, you can shit on me all you want. I promise you it won't bother me, but try to be respectful of others.
Remember that everyone can have their opinion. These are TV shows. Is not that serious.
Also, check out my newest video on Pluribus, the new Vince Gilligan show that's coming out later this year. I do a little bit of a deep dive into all the cryptic marketing around it, and I give you a little bit of my own personal theory on what is this show about. That's it for me today. Peace.
Adam Sandler.
Amazing.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Bellissima.
And then Jenna Ortega.
Okay.